your energy forecast for Thursday, September 28th. So today we have the moon in Pisces going void, of course, at 4:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will lock into that Aries energy at 8:19 p.m. We are definitely feeling the shift. Of course, the moon in Pisces wants us to slow down, wants us to wind down, wants us to calm down, put our physical bodies into a state of rest so that we can reflect and really kind of process a lot of the emotions, a lot of the ideas that came at us over this past lunar cycle. Even more than that, we have new energies that need to be integrated in our physical body. And of course, we have to slow the physical body in order for those energies to actually get settled in us. Now, seeing as we are moving into the full moon window, especially once the moon moves into that Aries energy, we are seeing a buildup. We are seeing a boiling point, a pressure point. Something is getting revved up, fired up within us, and it is likely emotions. There will be a little bit of a spillover for this particular moon event. If you have downloaded your Libra season e-guide, you're going to want to pop that out, take a good look at this particular astro event, really capture some of the thoughts, some of the ideas, some of the flashes coming at you around this time. Of course, you can download your moon guide, listen to the astro forecast for this event in order to figure out how this is going to affect you the most. So there are 12 different aspects here today, 11 of them going to involve the moon. We have the moon in Pisces making a interaction with Chiron, the wounded healer, who is retrograde in Aries energy. This is a positive interaction, which means that we are observing where it is that we've made some progress, where it is that we've grown, where it is that we've healed, where it is that we've improved the way that we're feeling about ourselves. We are tackling some of those blockages and challenges. We are really kind of addressing our imposter syndrome, some of the concerns that we're having, trying to emerge as this new version of self. But overall, we're just reflecting back on how far it is that we've actually come. The moon is going to sit across from, directly oppose Mercury, who of course is in Virgo energy. Pisces energy, Virgo energy sits across from each other in the zodiac wheel, and of course represents the axis of healing. We have the moon in Pisces helping us to heal our emotions, our spiritual realm, if you will, our soul contracts. Well, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, trying to kind of heal the way that we think, the looping narratives, the dialogues, what it is that we're focused on, realizing that what we kind of give attention to in our mental plane is what we create here in the physical realm. So this is an opposition. It means that our heart space, the moon, and our head space, Mercury, they're not on the same page. And of course, there's a good reason for that. First of all, we still have Mercury in his post-retrograde shadow period until pretty much October 1st. Secondly, the moon in Pisces has us looking back. Mercury wants us to be present in the here and now. Mercury wants us to take action, make moves to fix, heal, and repair some of the issues that we've identified aren't working. The moon in Pisces just wants us to chill about it, wants us to reflect about it. So we're definitely feeling a little bit of discourse here. This could definitely heighten our inability to express ourselves correctly, with confidence, with clarity. There's a lot of overwhelming emotions coming up in this Piscean energy, and they don't really have very many boundaries. So a lot of the time, we don't even know whether or not we're picking up on energies and emotions that actually belong to us. And Mercury, who is super tunnel vision focused on the here and now, doesn't really have time, I would say, to sit in the ocean of motion when it comes to really processing a lot of old feelings. Mercury's going to go ahead and bump into the North Node in Aries, though, in a very positive way, which means that if we can kind of separate ourselves from this inner realm reflection, we can definitely see where it is that we're coming up with a plan and a strategy, even if it is just a couple of baby steps, on where it is that we want to move forward from here. And then the moon goes ahead and bumps into Mars in not the nicest way. Mars, of course, the god of war, ruling over our physical energy, our drive, our passion, our desire. He's in his weakest placement here in the Libran energy. He's stuck in the intellectual battlefield, really needing to sort out the pros and cons, the highs, the lows, the everything in between on the actions in which he's contemplating taking. The moon interacting with Mars at this point is likely when our emotions are going to be all riled up for, let's say, not so nice reasons. The frustration, the agitation, the impatience that we're feeling, the ants in our pants, the restlessness, it's really getting to us. And because we're kind of stalled out from being able to take the kind of action that we feel impulsively the need to take at this moment, there could be some overwhelming, I'm going to say, not so nice energies that really get us all rattled up on the inside, considering the fact that this full moon in Aries is supposed to be a blow up, blow over, boil over event. This is likely when those emotions start really kind of percolating within us. The moon then goes ahead, bumps into Venus. So, of course, we have the interaction with Mars, the masculine energy first. And now we're going to go and kind of interact with the goddess herself, the feminine divine energy, in not the nicest way. This is illuminating where it is that we're not really sure on what it is that we want to do moving forward, especially where we've had a change of heart, especially where we're trying to listen to our real, raw, vulnerable self. Of course, Venus is still in her post-retrograde shadow period, so the confusion is still very real in her heart space as well. But this is really highlighting for us where we're having a hard time kind of letting go of the old structures, people, routine, and where it is that we're having a hard time feeling emotionally strong enough at this point in time to do what we got to do to make the changes and actually see the transformations take place that we know that we need to make according to our heart space. So the moon goes ahead and sextiles, beautiful interaction with Uranus, the great awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. We're going to like this energy because it brings up new insight, new perspective, new understanding, a new alternative, an aha moment, an epiphany. Something's coming at us that we haven't seen as of yet, or realized as of yet, or explored or processed as of yet, especially when it comes to where it is that we're a little bit resistant, I would say, in our physical realms to make the kind of changes that we've been percolating on. This is definitely going to inspire us, maybe motivate us, really remind us of the dream, the vision, the goal that we're trying to piece together right now. And in accordance to comparing to where it is that we're at and where it is that we desire to be, this is going to illuminate where some action is available for us to actually take. The moon is going to interact with the North Node in Aries energy again. This is going to really put us in a situation where we're feeling emotionally and intuitively where it is that we're being called to go from here. Of course, that North Node in Aries is our soul path, our destiny point, trying to free us up, make us a little bit more independent, to get to know ourselves again, to really put what we want, need, and desire up the top of the list again. And because the moon in Pisces is highly imaginative and super creative and very in tune with our higher selves, we may just capture a vision, a little bit of a glimpse on what it is that we want to pursue from here. Now, the moon in Pisces energy is going to come up to, bump into, team up with Neptune, who rules over the Pisces energy, who just happens to be retrograde in this Pisces energy. Now, this could go one of two ways, and especially seeing how we're in a full moon in Aries where an emotional outburst is concerned, I would say that most of us are going to be exploring the not so nice thoughts, the not so nice feels, the not so nice energies that are pushing us to have a little bit of a mini breakdown before we have this full moon Aries show us where a breakthrough is actually happening. I would say that we're going to get overwhelmed with emotion, with thoughts, with fears, with doubts, with insecurities. I think we're going to talk ourselves down. I think we're going to pick ourselves apart. I think we're going to move into the victimhood mentality. And of course, it's not going to feel good, but it's absolutely necessary in order to identify where the darkest parts of us are still alive and well and preventing us from actually breaking free of that construct and creating a new change. Now, there will be a very small group of people that are going to use this interaction as inspiration, as motivation, as a renewal in our faith, in our trust, in our imagination, in our creativity, in just kind of understanding that we're part of the process here of the divine unfolding of the next chapter of karma that we just entered into. I would like to say that the majority of us are going to feel the very good feels. However, in a full moon in Aries, I don't know. I would say that there is a large chunk of us that need to sit in the funk and really allow that emotion, those thoughts to rise to the surface so that we can purge them, get them out of our body, especially when we're being supported in doing so under this full moon in Aries. So we have the moon in Pisces sextiling with Pluto, the great transformer himself, who is retrograde in this Capricorn energy, helping us to really see where it is that we need to make the inner realm change and transformation before we're going to see the outer realm change and transformation. Regardless, this is a shift in our emotional realm. This is a shift in our, I'm going to say, thoughts, emotions, in our perspective, in our understanding that kind of empowers us in comparison to some of the energies earlier on in the day. And of course, this is the last aspect that the moon in Pisces makes before going void, of course. We are going to have the moon still in Pisces energy, but void, of course, interact with Venus. Now, when the moon is void, there's always a lot of uncertainty. There's always a lot of questioning. There's always a lot of instability. There's always a lot of fears and doubts. We start picking things apart. Well, the moon interacting with Venus in this way, yes, it is a positive interaction. However, we're still trying to kind of take stock, if you will, on what it is that our heart is asking us to do. And a lot of the struggle here is because our heart is asking us to remove certain people, certain aspects, certain parts of our day, certain parts of our lives, certain versions of ourselves from the playing field. And of course, that's the hard thing to do. Yes, it's the right thing to do, but it's also the hard thing to do. So we're still kind of sorting through what it is that our heart is asking us to pursue and starting with what it is that we have to remove in order to create the space in order to build something better in its place. The moon still in Pisces, still void, of course, is going to semi-square, a little bit of tension, a little bit of conflict with Jupiter, planet of growth and expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, who is retrograde in this Taurus energy, giving us an opportunity to step back and review our physical lives, especially where our long-term goals are concerned, the opportunities that we have to really kind of break away from what it is that we had been doing based off of the old version of self, the old wants, needs, and desires of that old version of self. And now that so much has changed, especially our own vibration and frequency, we really need to contemplate whether or not we're going to continue walking the path in which we've been walking, or whether we're going to switch it up and create something new in our lives. So this is going to illuminate for us where we have hesitations, where we have doubts, where we have fears, where we have insecurities, if you will, on really doing what we know that we have to do in our physical realms. Up until this point, we've been just thinking about it. Well, now, as we move through Libra season, we're going to be gathering the information and details that we need and the emotional and energetic strength in order to do the hard thing, which is to cut things and people out if they are not contributing to our overall happiness, our wellness, our joy, our pleasure, our safety, our security, our stability. So we're getting to the point where we're going to have to make major changes. We're not there yet, but we're definitely sitting in the spot where we need to review whether or not we're still being called to do those things, or whether or not we need to kind of continue with the path that we're on. Again, reminder, we just moved into a new karmic chapter, so we need to really kind of step back at this particular point and say, okay, am I in a new timeline where I get to evolve, or am I kind of sticking with the same timeline and seeing myself re-evolve? Neither is good or bad, just a state of being, just a current level of life lessons. But this is where we're going to start seeing the path that we're actually on. We lock in to that Aries energy, 8:19 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The only aspect that we have here today involving the moon in Aries is an interaction with Saturn, the Lord of Karma, who is retrograde in Pisces energy, helping us to dissolve not only our old belief system, but the old version of self. Again, I'm going to give you the butterfly analogy. We were caterpillars. We created a cocoon. We're currently in a state of goo, may I remind you. We will not emerge as the beautiful butterfly and take flight until Scorpio season. So we're still trying to put the pieces of the butterfly together while we're getting rid of and dissolving the caterpillar form. So the moon interacting with Saturn, yes, does give us a little bit of a Debbie Downer type of narrative, but this is a positive interaction. Saturn always brings a seriousness, a somberness to it, because we have to be reminded of our responsibilities, of our roles, of our karma, of what it is that we're being asked to build in the place of the things that have been falling apart. And of course, the moon in Aries, a fire sign, just wants to get the party started, wants to jump in, wants to just take action without necessarily having a plan and waste a lot of energy, which Saturn is pumping the brakes on and saying, listen, You're full of piss and vinegar. That's great. You want to take action. That's great. But please don't waste time. Don't waste energy. Take the time to invest in creating the proper plan and strategy so that you can use your energy to the best of your advantage. This is just putting into perspective where it is that we are being asked to boss up, and being asked to boss up means that we're closing the door on some roles and responsibilities that are no longer a part of this particular karmic journey.